Now without further ado, let's get started with creating the fresh React app inside this project folder. By the way, this particular tutorial will be a little fast because here we are just creating a React app and setting the basic configurations which you must be familiar with already. Now since I'm using a Windows operating system, I have to open command prompt from this same folder directory. For that, I will just replace this folder path with cmd, then hit enter, so that this command prompt will be opened from the same folder directory as that of this open folder. Now to create the React app, we'll be using Vite. As you know, it's a better alternative to the traditional Create React App package for creating React applications. Now to create the React application, you can choose the create command based on which CLI you are using. So let me copy this npm command from here. Now let's paste the same here. At the end, we have to name the project. It would be food delivery form, because inside this React app, we are going to construct a food delivery form. Reasonably, it would be a complex form so that we can demonstrate most of the features of the package React Hook Form. This food delivery app or form is created for restaurant employees to take orders from customers. Now hit enter. Now I will select this React framework here. Now we're going to choose this TypeScript variant. So here we have successfully created the app. As a result of that, you could see the new folder with the same name as that of the React app. Now let's navigate inside the new folder like this. And let's install the npm packages like this. Once it is done, let's open this folder inside VS Code. For that, you could do this code space period or .simple. Then hit enter. So here we have opened the same project folder inside VS Code. Now before explaining anything further inside this Explorer, let's run this app. For that, we could use this npm command npm run dev. Now the app is already running at this localhost port number. To open the same, hold Ctrl, then click on this URL here. So this is how the fresh React app looks like. Now let's briefly explain what's going on behind this newly created React app. So everything starts from this index.html file here. It contains the HTML declaration and the head body wrapping for the entire app. Now before going further, let me talk about this error property dash does not exist on type JSX intrinsic elements. If this is the first time you are working with React TypeScript for the first time, you might get this error. So before trying any other solution online, try to update your VS Code editor. Most probably that will fix the error. Now back to the index.html here. Here we have the HTML declaration and the head body wrapping for the entire application. And inside this body, you could only see this HTML element, a div with the ID root. Other than that, you could see the script reference for the TypeScript file main.tsx, which you can see inside this src folder main.tsx. So what's going on here is that the div with the ID root will be replaced with the default app component of the React app. So here is the default app component app.tsx, and this is responsible for the default view of the application here. And here we have the global style sheet index.css, which is imported inside this main TypeScript file. And for this app component, there is a component specific style sheet, which is here app.css, which is imported here. Now let's start customizing this app as per our requirement. For that, first of all, we'll get rid of the default HTML elements inside this app component. And instead of that, we want to design a form for the food delivery. Now let's get rid of these unwanted SVGs and this state variable here. Now before getting into the construction of the form, let me get rid of the unwanted CSS rules inside the app. For that, inside this app component style sheet, we'll only keep the CSS rules for the root div because it places the app at the center of the web page here. So let me get rid of these unwanted CSS. Now inside this global style sheet, I'll remove the anchor styles here and then whatever after the body. Now the default font of this app is Google font Inder, which is also my favorite. So let's add the corresponding font reference into the app. So go to Google Fonts, search for Inder. So here is the font Inder. Now let's select these font weights 300, 400 and 700. Now let's copy the link and let's paste that inside the index.html just before the head end tag. Now for styling the elements inside the app, I'm going to use everyone's favorite Bootstrap style sheet. So go to the official website getbootstrap.com and using this latest version here 5.3. So let's grab the corresponding CDN reference for the style sheet. Let me copy this and let's paste the same just after the font reference. Now inside the global style sheet, it's better to reapply this font family for the body element also because Bootstrap might override it. So let's make it important. Now inside this CSS row, so you could see the color schema applied as dark. We don't need that. Instead, we could do this with Bootstrap. For this HTML tag, you could add this attribute data-bs-theme is equal to dark, which is mentioned inside the Bootstrap documentation here. Just search for dark mode. To enable the dark mode, just add this data attribute to the HTML tag like this. Okay. Finally, I just want to wrap everything inside the Bootstrap container. So inside this app component, I will do this. So let's add a div. As you can see, I'm using the emmet abbreviation or snippets so that we can easily add HTML elements with snippets like this. So we need a div having the class container from Bootstrap. Now just hit tab so that a div with the class container will be created. Now inside this container, we need another div to apply an extra margin. For that, we can make use of this Bootstrap class margin on x-axis or horizontal axis of the range 5. Now hit tab so a div with the class mx5 is created. Now let's move this div into it. That's it. As you can see, I'm using the VS Code extension Prettier for formatting the code, which you can see inside the extensions here, Prettier. So this is the extension I'm using for code formatting inside the VS Code. So this is how the app looks now. In next lecture, we're going to discuss the struggles with typical way of creating React forms. So see you there.